or Facebook. Hi, everyone. No thanks. So I'm logging on to answer some of your questions today. So clearly I didn't feel like putting on makeup. You'll have to excuse me. Maybe I can put a filter on. I think it might be too late for that. We're gonna wait a few minutes, clearly. I'm a bit early. Just enjoying my protein shake. It's a strawberry one. And I also just realized that May 3rd is Mother's Day. So that sucks. We'll be in quarantine for that. So maybe we should get up and order some stuff for your mom today. Hopefully everybody's day is going well. Wanted to know what you did on the weekend. How did you like today's workout? Lululemon is so annoying. Everything's always sold out. Who's on with me? Let's see the comments here. Okay, everyone, so put your comments or your questions in the comments and I'll answer it for the group. Hope you're having a good day. I'm a little bit tired today, a little bit sore. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Mary Beth. So ask away. I'm gonna kind of keep it short and sweet today. Got a lot of work to do, preparing for next week. So if you have any questions, let me know. Pepper? No. Hi, Melanie. Having my strawberry shake, it's so good. I'll even have it when I don't work out. My dog is hacking all over the kitchen floor. So anybody want to start and ask me questions about nutrition, about training, about Arbonne, whatever you want to talk about? I'm just going to do a little Q&A for about 15 minutes. So just put your questions in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So what do you got? Hi, Anna. Intermittent fasting, Mary Beth. Okay. Anything specific about fasting? So I'll just kind of start with why you would want to intermittent fast. I mean, first and foremost, if you're breastfeeding or if you suffer from diabetes, you don't want to be practicing intermittent fasting. And it's not recommended for everybody. So fasting has been around for over 70 years, 70. There's tons of health benefits towards fasting as well. One of the major benefits is, of course, it uses your fat stores as energy. So instead of your body looking towards like proteins from your muscles, it actually will attack your fat cells first. So it actually promotes human growth hormone, which is responsible for developing lean muscle mass. It also heightens mental alertness. It helps to wean off diseases, even cancers. So what I do is I actually do more or less like a 17-7, meaning that I fast for about 17 hours without eating. And then I eat within a 7-hour period. Now, this is not an excuse to eat really bad. This is more or less, you will experience some symptoms of being hungry. And I always want to address this too, because a lot of people, some people think it's an eating disorder, and it's not that at all. There is tons of health benefits to intermittent fasting, and there are different portions of what you can do. So the 16-8 method is the most popular, meaning again, you don't have anything to eat for 16 hours. So people are like, how the heck is that possible? Well, first and foremost, if you are sleeping the recommended 7 or 8 hours a day, there you go. You're already fasted for 8 hours. It's simply, you know, extending that fast a little bit longer into the day that really helps you get to that 16, 17 hour time frame. So when you are fasting, say if you started or stopped eating at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, then you're starting your fast all the way up until, I usually start eating around between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because I generally have my last like food source about 9 p.m. I usually have a snack before I go to bed, probably like an hour before. But what you can have when you're in a fasted state is 0-calorie beverages. So you can have a ton of water, you can have lemon in your water. You can also have black coffee or black tea. And we've talked a little bit about like sort of how caffeine affects your system. So you want to be careful having so many, you know, cups of coffee and stuff of that nature. But when you're in a fasted state, anything that you can have as 0-calorie beverages are allowed. And then when you break your fast, what I always recommend you doing is having a well-balanced meal. Like for instance, I do break my fast every day with my protein shake from Arbonne. But I know I'm getting vitamins and minerals in there. I know I'm getting a good source of protein. I know I'm getting fiber. I usually put some fruit in it too, so I know I'm getting some potassium, because I always usually try to have a banana, especially since I'm working out so much. And then I'll have it like with a good quality carbs, something like an oatmeal, gluten-free of course, or maybe some rice cakes. And throw in some vegetables if you can. I don't have any spinach left, but sometimes I will throw in a huge handful of spinach into my shake just to help with, again, fiber boost and more vegetable sources, right? So other than that, the next time I'll eat after I break my fast is generally dinner time. And it will be a very balanced meal. I don't really technically have like a carbohydrate with my meal if we're not talking about vegetables. Usually about 80% of my plate is made up of veggies, and then I have at least a half an avocado, because this is so important to get your healthy fats into your diet as well. And then my other source would be my protein, whatever I'm having for that evening. And then I'll have like a snack or two. Like think about it, you can't really consume a ton of calories in like a 7 or 8 hour period. So this is going to teach your body how to attack your fat stores a lot faster when you're in an intermittent fasted state. Plus, if you can, then I would highly recommend that you work out fasted, because that way you are attacking more of your fat cells, and you are also promoting the fact that the human growth hormone, which is responsible for lean muscle mass. So I hope that helps. Mental clarity is another huge reason why I intermittent fast. You would be shocked at how much more clear your mind is when you're in a fasted state. You can get so much more done with your day. And that's why I choose to be in a fasted state for the majority of my morning and my afternoon. One thing I will tell you is you don't have to fast every day. Even if you're doing something as a beginner, you know, 2 to 3 times a week is incredible. So I would recommend doing that too. And other than the 16-8 method, you can also, I don't particularly promote this because I don't really like how much it affects your mindset, but there's something called OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. For me, it just doesn't work that well. I'm way too hungry. I get dizzy from that. So when you are starting fasting, it is very normal for you to feel hungry. And I think a lot of the times what people don't realize that actually feeling hungry is an okay signal. As long as you are, of course, nourishing your body and it's not developing into a horrible relationship with food. But when you're in a fasted state, you might feel hungry here and there, have a glass of water, and then break your fast. The thing with your timing, you got to play with it a little bit. And if you do have a day, like for instance, today I did not fast. I woke up fairly early again today, around 7 o'clock, and I ended up starting eating around 10:30 because I was hungry. So you got to be willing to listen to the cues that your body is giving you, and it's by no means to start, you know, promoting a eating disorder. So hopefully that answers your question, Mary Beth. Let's see who's next. I'm just going to go in order here. When do I break my fast, Tanya? I do usually between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I stop eating at about 9. So anywhere from that time frame. I'm not so obsessed with hitting like the 16-8 either. I just try to listen to the cues of my body. But once, it's like anything else, when you start working out and you're developing muscle mass, you are going to have muscle memory. It's very similar when you're feeding your body. When we think about all the information that we talked about in the past, like everyone's saying, oh my God, have breakfast, have breakfast, have breakfast. You got to speed up your metabolism. Sorry, that is such BS. I don't ever coach any of my clients to eat unless they are hungry. Okay, so that's the first thing I always explain to any of my clients when we start working together. Are you hungry at breakfast time? No, you're not. Then why the heck are you forcing yourself to eat? It makes no sense. Okay. So, again, listening to your cues is just super important. Okay. Jillian, she loves my top. Thank you. I have a question about, I'm not sure what you're asking me, girl, because I don't know. Can you retype the message, Jillian? That would be great. Mary Beth, you're wanting to boost your immune system. So this is going to be a lot of vegetables, a ton of water, definitely exercise. When we talk about boosting your immunity system, it also has a lot to do with stress. So if you're somebody that has a lot of stress in your life, there's definitely things that you need to do to combat that. Number one would be to remove everything that's stressful out of your life, including people. This is a hard one for a lot of people to understand and sort of start to implement in their life, because you might not realize it, but there are a lot of toxic people in your life, whether they're negative about their own situation or they're, calling you just to complain. What I started to do is just let them know that I simply don't have the time. I am not, one that wants to hear about a pity party, to be quite frankly. I'm here to support you, but at the same token, if you can't, develop a healthy relationship with a girlfriend, somebody in your family, maybe a coworker, then it's just not worth having, okay? Because this is going to elevate your cortisol levels, which especially in women is our stress hormone, and this hormone causes us to store fat. I'm going to tell you a personal story before we go any further. How many years ago would this be? I would say 4.5 years ago, I was about 25 pounds heavier than I currently am today. I was still working out very often. I was still eating fairly well, but my cortisol level was through the roof because I was working for somebody else's dreams. I was constantly, under pressure because I was in sales and I was in health and fitness sales. But at the same token, I was miserable. I was in and out of the doctor. I was 25 pounds heavier. No matter what I did, I couldn't combat that. The moment that I resigned from that job, it was like a 40-pound weight was lifted off of my shoulders. And within basically 3 months, I had dropped 20 pounds because I was holding on to all of my stress in my body, and I wasn't able to relieve it unless I removed the stress physically from my life. So that's how I would recommend you boost your immunity system, above and beyond, of course, just staying hydrated and staying active. And I really do believe that the lemon water and the lime and the salt and having herbal teas inside of your nutrition program is super important to keep that immunity system high. And sweating. You want to make sure that you're exercising, because that's going to help combats the sicknesses and the diseases and stuff of that nature, okay? So Mary Beth, we're good. Does the Arbonne Full Control really work? I'm going to not talk about that because I'm not sure if I believe in it. I am okay with certain supplements. I am okay, with vitamin D. I'm okay with a multivitamin. I'm also, a huge fan of protein powder, because I find, for me personally, I don't love to eat meat, and it actually disturbs me more and more as I continue to move through life. But the appetite control is something that, might be sort of a facade. It's basically teaching you that you can have a pill and not feel hungry. So I don't believe in it so much. I mean, I love Arbonne. That's one of the things I've never sold, to be completely honest, because I don't like recommending it. And then I feel like, say, you know, you're taking these full appetite control pills and they don't work, then it's Arbonne's fault. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't really recommend that. Again, it's all about mindful eating, and it's all about making sure that you have really good balance in your life and that you have a really good, healthy relationship with food, and that you're eating the right things so you do feel full. If you're not getting protein, you know, with your snacks and with your meals, then you seriously are doing your body half the justice, because you need protein to survive. It's very different, you know, than a carb and a fat. We still need that stuff in our diet, but protein is like second in line underneath water. Without water, we have a very hard time surviving and living. It's the exact same thing with protein. And protein is gonna fill you up. So you just gotta make sure that you're getting at least 1 gram of protein per body weight. And this is all dependent, you know, if you're obese, it's a completely different story. But if you are, you know, looking to maintain or maybe drop a few pounds, 1 gram of protein is very, very, easy to get per body weight. You just have to learn how to sort of see the cues of how to measure your food without actually physically measuring it, because I do not count calories. I do not count macronutrients. I don't think it's healthy for women to do that. I just disagree with it. It's not sustainable for me. And to me, it would drive me nuts having to like measure out my rice or measure out my, you know, my chicken every single day. I don't even eat chicken anymore, but do you see what I'm saying? It's just too mentally overstimulating for me. Okay, so Deanna, what do you think about the scale? I do not own a scale, and I'm laughing because this is actually part day 3 of my formula for weight loss training. It's a coaching program that I developed for 30 days for women. And I actually coach my clients on how to basically bust the scale in half, throw it out, and never step on it ever again. I've had a few people message me asking me, you know, what my opinion is on the body fat percentage scales. I think they're crap. A scale is a number, and it shouldn't dictate how you are feeling about your body, how you are feeling about your progress, how you are feeling about, you know, your nutrition, your exercise, your self-confidence. And I read a statistic, and this was so unbelievably disturbing, but it was 97% of women don't like have some sort of distorted body image. And that actually broke my heart, because I couldn't bear the thought that, you know, and I'm one of them. There's been many times where I've said to Steve, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, you know, and a lot of it has to do with our hormones and what we go through and stuff of that nature. But my goodness, we need to really break the barrier there. And I think that I truly believe that stepping on a scale only mind feeds you the wrong information, the negative information, and you should not, you know, have a scale to measure your success. I always talk about, you know, how long is it taking you to sort of gain the extra weight if that's what you have. And then when people, you know, are expecting to lose that weight or expecting that number to come down in 2 weeks because they've been active and maybe they've been eating right for 2 weeks, it's just simply not realistic. You have to look at the internal cues. It's exactly the same thing as somebody quitting smoking. All of the positive changes happen on the inside first, and then their skin starts to clear up, and then, you know, maybe they have more energy or whatever the case is. Now they're able to work out. It's the same thing for weight loss. And honestly, I hate scales. I stepped on a scale as part of an experiment when I was creating my formula for weight loss program. And I did a video on it afterwards because I felt like crap the whole day. The last time I was on a scale before that was like 2.5 years ago, and I don't need a scale, you know, to tell me whether or not I should feel good about myself. So I don't believe in them. If you do have one, I suggest you throw it out or give it away, whatever you'd like to do. Just don't do it. That's my advice on that, okay? Hi, Angie. I absolutely do not calorie count, Tanya. Thank you for asking that. I do not. I fast every day, as you know. I am conscious of the amount of calories that I'm eating, because in order to lose weight, no matter what, hell or high water, you have to be in a caloric deficit, no matter what, okay? So, you know, fasting for me is just a super easy way for me to be able to still enjoy the foods that I love and not like be so concerned or worried about what I'm putting into my body. prior, like I was saying, when I weighed 25 pounds more, I was like, should I eat this? Shouldn't I eat that? Oh my gosh, I think that portion is too high. I tried counting calories like 4 or 5 years ago. It drove me insane. It's just too mental for me. So no, I absolutely do not. However, I am a person that eats very, very similar things every single day. I just, because A, I enjoy them, and B, I know that they agree with me. I used to suffer from a ton of IBS until I started taking the Digestion Plus from Arbonne. So that's really changed my life. And not to mention, I just know the things I have to stay away from. So I know where I'm at in terms of calories and macronutrients. Protein for sure, I'm getting at least 1 gram a day. 1 gram of protein per body weight a day. I know that's for sure what I'm aiming for, okay? Steve, pre-workout? What do you mean, babe? Retype your question, hun. I'm not sure what you mean. I do not eat bread, Deanna. And if I was to eat bread, it would be 1000% gluten-free. I can't digest gluten, and I can almost guarantee that you can't either. That's why you get bloated. That's also why you immediately feel hungry after you have a piece of bread. Like you could have 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of bread. I compare bread and your pastas and stuff like that. I don't want to say empty calories, but they're not providing you with nutrient dense foods. You can only put, flour and some yeast and stuff in bread. And I like bread, don't get me wrong. It's just for me, I don't crave it because A, I don't eat it. And B, I know it's not gonna nourish my body. So think about this. I guess the only bread I would ever have would be pizza, because I definitely eat pizza every so often. I love pizza. But here's the thing, think about eating a bag of potato chips. You could eat the entire thing and still be hungry, because your brain doesn't know how to signal to the rest of your body that you are, you're done eating, because you're not getting full from the junk food. It's the same thing sort of with bread. So no, I don't eat bread. And if I do, it's like literally this much, or it's on the pizza, like I said, but I always try to get thin crust or gluten-free if I can for a pizza. And yeah, it's just super small. So very, very rare do I eat bread. And not because I don't think it's okay. If you are somebody that likes to eat bread, I would recommend Ezekiel bread. It's not 100% gluten-free. However, it is made from spelt flour. So there's some protein in it. It's easier for you to digest. There's lots of grains and nutrients in that bread. It's in the freezer section at the grocery store, or you can get a gluten-free bread, okay? Just watch the dairy content. A lot of the times when breads are gluten-free, they're packed with dairy, which is absolutely a no-go for me in my life. So just make sure that you're looking at the ingredients on the back, okay? Melanie, this is sort of like a one-off thing. She asked, is it better to have all your carbs before 4 p.m.? Vegetables are a carb, so I'm going to say no. If you're talking about complex carbohydrates like your breads, your pastas, your oatmeal, stuff of that nature, then yes. And the reason for that is because when we move throughout our day, our energy starts to deplete, right? So we're less active after 4 p.m. We're usually, we'll cook dinner and then maybe we'll sit on the couch, read a book, whatever your schedule looks like. But you're not, working out after 4 p.m. usually, right? Or chasing after the kids or whatever that might look like. But I'm gonna say this, you have to be willing to listen to the cues that your body is giving you. If you are hungry, that means you didn't get enough protein. That's just plain and simple. It doesn't mean automatically I need another carb. And that's why I posted this a few days ago in the group. Your dinner plate should be 50% vegetables, and majority of them should be green, because this is going to up your fiber intake. It's going to keep you fuller longer. And again, it's a carbohydrate. So you can also choose, if you're craving something that's a carb later in the evening, I would recommend replacing that with a healthy fat. This works for some women. It doesn't work for everybody. Everyone's different. We know that. But at the same token, having, say, an avocado or some nut butter, something like that on the later portion of the evening, I would recommend that, because you're going, and it might be counteractive or productive, I should say, from what you've learned in the past. But if you have to choose, you know, between a carb and a healthy fat later at night, choose the healthy fat and see what happens, okay? A lot of this is trial and error too, because like I said, everyone is different. So that's like a touch or go. And I feel like a lot of the times too, our need and our want for those carbohydrates are heightened past 4 p.m. because we have not eaten enough during the day. Or when you broke your fast, if you do intermittent fasting, you did not have a well-balanced meal. So then you automatically, your brain, your body wants carbohydrates, okay? Don't be afraid of carbohydrates unless they're complex, right? So don't be afraid to have like a ton of vegetables. They're basically like 0 calories anyways. Again, we want to be conscious about how we're cooking those vegetables because I don't always recommend raw either. It can be very tough on your digestive system to digest the raw veggies, okay? Pre-workout, non-training day. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so Jillian's asking about her abs have been separated after she gave birth. So here's the thing, like, muscle memory is a beautiful thing, and you want to look at how your lifestyle was before you gave birth. I don't have children, ladies, so it's very hard for me to speak to this. On the flip side of things, you know, you got to be willing to do the trial and error piece, okay? Because if they're separated, I mean, and there's no possibility of you reattaching them, then there's got to be other things that we can do to strengthen that area, okay? So as much as, you know, when we have like a back injury or a knee injury, we can always make little adjustments and tweaks. And this is why working with a coach is super important, because, you know, if you're just following, stay along in what we're doing in the group and it's not, you know, it's causing you pain and discomfort, this might not be, you know, that might not be the best conclusion. However, your body, when you're in that type of mentality, is going to be so used to just giving up. You have to be willing 1000% to own the process, okay? Because no one can do this for you. This is a mindset thing too, right? My biggest goal with all of my clients is to establish long-term healthy habits so that you don't even think about them. They're just part of your lifestyle. There's nothing worse than waking up and regretting or not regretting, but avoiding something that you need to do for the day, okay? And that's why I always try to tell you to get your workout done in the morning. Even if you have to wake up 20 minutes earlier or 30 minutes earlier, it's worth it because you are going to set the tone for the day. So I would just recommend, you know, taking it a little bit slower, Jillian, and making sure that you have a lot of mind-muscle connection to that ab area and that core work. And then again, if you are experiencing discomfort or pain, we got to make sort of some tweaks there to relieve that and still focus on strengthening your core muscles. One other thing I will say, if you're having a hard time, you know, getting down and doing crunches or whatever we're doing for the day, I recommend taking it to the mat in the sense of stand up. Let's get some lower body workouts in, you know, your squatting, your deadlifting, good mornings, your lunges, stuff of that nature, because it's really going to engage your core that much better. And you're also going to be promoting more muscle mass during your leg workouts. So I would recommend doing that, okay? Okay, yes, Mary Beth, it's super counterproductive. It's horrible. I hate counting calories. It's so awful. Yes, Steve, 1 gram of protein per body weight. Steve doesn't use a scale. We actually threw it out together. I think we may have, you know, taken a bat to it. Okay, let's see. Mary Beth, what other questions do we have? Anybody? Angie, okay, do you do the lemon? Yes, I do, Angie. I didn't do it this morning because I actually didn't feel like it. So again, you want to really listen to the cues of your body. But yes, I would say 6 out of 7 days a week, half a lemon, half a lime. I would say about a half a teaspoon of sea salt. Grind it up in warm water. I actually boil my water and I wait for it to cool down a little bit. And this is before you have coffee, before you have food. If you are eating in the morning, take that down. You don't have to chug it. You can sip on it, time depending, whatever you feel. But yes, I definitely recommend the internal body cleanse every morning. And the sodium is just really what's going to get your body back into balance to face the day. So yes, I do it every day. Okay, Anna, do I think tofu is okay? This is another, I think, odd one for me. I watched Game Changers. I'm sure you probably got there too. It's an excellent movie to check out. There's a lot of contradicting of whether or not tofu is good for women, because tofu has been shown to have a lot more estrogen in it than most other like plant-based protein sources. Tofu bothers my stomach a lot. I love tofu. I just can't eat a lot of it. And just remember, you know, there are many other different vegan sources of protein that you can get from lentils, from beans, stuff of that nature. You know, it's really important to kind of broaden your horizons, because you don't want to be eating the same things, you know, at every single meal. You don't want to have tofu 5 or 6 times a week. I would say once or twice a week, 100%, to do like a meatless Monday. I recommend doing a meatless, you know, meal at least 2 times a week. It's so healthy for you, and it's just nice to have that variety. Plus, we're trying to save the friggin' planet. So I would recommend it. Tofu is okay to eat. I would say definitely in moderation, just like anything else. We don't want to have it so often that it's like overkill. And then there's tempeh too, which is just another form of tofu, but you can have that, Anna, instead of just the tofu. Let's see. Yeah, the spelt bread is so good. What is my oatmeal recipe? So gluten-free oats all together, the Bob's Mill, Deanna. And what I put on there is I'm obsessed with cinnamon. It's my favorite spice on the planet. It's also incredible for your digestion. I put cinnamon in my coffee grinds every morning too. In the grinds, not on top of my black coffee, because it actually will brew the coffee with the cinnamon. Anyways, I put cinnamon on top of my oatmeal once it's cooked. And then I actually sprinkle a little bit of Arbonne cinnamon roll protein on top. Yeah. And then I'll add some fruits and stuff too if I feel like extra carbohydrates, usually berries. I stay away from the banana and the oatmeal together, but that's what my go-to recipe is for oatmeal for sure. Okay, Tanya. There you go, Jillian. She said that her abs separated after birth, and it did take time, but they will come back. So that's really encouraging, Tanya. Thanks so much for sharing that. That's awesome. Yes, absolutely. We need to work out in the morning. It sets the tone for the day, 100%. And I have never used creatine products. No. You know, there's L-glutamine that I would recommend over creatine any day. Creatine, I find, just makes us a little bit more bloated than we would like to admit. I've never personally used them. I've never had a need to. The thing is, when we're talking about supplements, ladies, you really want to look at getting, you know, picking and choosing where you're getting these supplements from, and like what the sources are of where they're coming from. You know, creatine is really hard for our bodies to produce naturally, obviously, but I would opt out for something like a probiotic before creatine any day. Protein powder for sure, because it's nourishing your body. It's essential. Creatine, you know, is developed for lean muscle mass, but there are so many other routes that you can go before starting to take like a creatine powder. So I don't really recommend it. A lot of men take creatine, which is okay for recovery and stuff of that nature. It's just, again, you're taking something that to me is not long-term. So I would kind of caution you away from that as well. Okay. Tanya, the most cardio I've ever done in my life is in my living room with this group. I do not do cardio. I lift. When we're at the gym, I lift 6 days a week. I might do 1 day of cardio a month. However, having said that, I feel like as we get older, it is super important to incorporate your cardio. But when I weight lift, I don't rest. So similar to what we're doing, you know, in this quarantine core challenge, there's very minimal rest period in between our sets because we're promoting more fat burning. We want to keep our heart rates elevated, and we want to get a good workout in under 45 minutes. So when I do, you know, I don't do your Stairmaster or your running or the biking very often at all because I hate it, quite frankly. I don't like sitting on a machine, because here's the thing. If you are also doing like a cross trainer for cardio, I'm going to tell you to stop, because first of all, yes, you're burning calories, but there's nothing natural about the movement of a cross trainer. If you are going to choose or opt out for anything to do cardio with, it would be definitely the Stairmaster. That's going to promote the most of your body in order to get through that workout. You're gonna burn more calories, it's working your lower body, it's working your core. You gotta, of course, step up. So it's actually a motion that you can use within life. And then here's the other thing, if you don't like doing cardio, then you need to aim in to get like 10 to 15,000 steps every single day. And this would be, you know, on top of your workout. So if you don't know, on your iPhone, if you have one, there's a health app, and somebody taught me this a little while ago, but you can actually turn it on and it'll show you how many steps that you've taken or that you're averaging every single day. So you don't need a Fitbit, you don't need to get any of that. You, of course, unfortunately, you have to make sure you have your phone on you, but most of us have it on us anyway. But yeah, no, I'm not a huge cardio fan. However, HIIT training is something that clearly we're incorporating into this program, and that I will continue, you know, well past the 30 days, because I'm actually really enjoying it and I love, you know, getting a good sweat on. It's just, as terms of like, you know, running and also like cross training, absolutely not. I don't do that very often at all. Okay, what else? So Anna, any specific daily supplements or vitamins? Yes, my lady. For sure, every single day I take a B vitamin. And it's a B complex, so you want to make sure it's got 612 and it's a complex vitamin. B vitamins are so incredibly important to metabolize your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats. And again, B vitamins are actually generally hard to get the recommended amount every day without a supplement. So I too take a B vitamin every day, B complex. I also take vitamin D because Exhibit A. We live in a country that we have like zero sun. And I think if you've known me from the past, you'll know that I absolutely love the sun, and I can't handle that it's never nice in this country, but we're making progress. So I take vitamin D every day, which is important for women too, and bone health and everything else. I also take vitamin C. So going back to the immunity booster, definitely get some vitamin C. There should be no reason you wouldn't want to take a vitamin C. And then the other supplements that I take, of course, is my Arbonne protein powder. I take my Digestion Plus every day, which is the probiotics, prebiotics, and 11 digestive enzymes. And that is it. Oh yes, and I also take omega-3s. And I do this every other day, but mine are not from fish. Mine are from flaxseed, from Arbonne. Because I just can't handle, excuse me, the taste of the, you know, omega-3 from fish. It's just so nasty to me. Plus, I am really trying to make a better conscious effort to save the planet. And if I can get it extracted from a seed in the amount and the quantity that I would get from a fish, then I'm going to take it. So that's what I take every day, and I do recommend that, again, depending on what your diet looks like, because we always want to start with whole foods. But some of the things, you know, like vitamin D, I can't control the fact that the weather is not, you know, sunny, so I do take vitamin D every day, and the B vitamins, right? So does anyone have any other questions? This was awesome. I will be happy to do this next week too. If you come up with some other questions during the week, let me know. This is awesome to connect with you on this level, and I'm not jumping all over my living room. You're welcome, Anna. So it's a great, you know, program that we're doing together. I'm so motivated by each and every single one of you. I've told you this 100 times, but you inspire me so much. And if you're able to share this group with anyone else, hopefully they're going to get just as much value out of it as we are. And I am planning on something after this, so I will 100% keep you all posted when it comes to what's next. We are going into week 3. Tomorrow is 9 a.m. live. I'm going to answer one more question from Mary Beth. Oh no, she's good. She just said thank you. So ladies, thanks so much for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. Get your protein in. Drink tons of water today. My pleasure, Deanna. I love you all. Have a good afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow 9 a.m. live. I can't wait. I'm excited. I've got the whole week planned out, and I'm really excited to bring it up a notch a little bit this week. And yes, I said bring it up. We only have 2 weeks left, so we're here we go. You're welcome, Angie. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good afternoon. Bye.